Good morning and welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. This is BRN AM for Thursday, September 5th. We're calling this show The Roads to Retirement. You know, back in August of last year, I and the BRN team went to California. We wanted to meet Americans of all types, striving to save for their financial futures. We met with small business owners and both private and public sector workers to get their thoughts on retirement and what it means to them. What tools, what education do they need? We also talked to California government officials about their new savings plan for folks without a workplace retirement plan called Cal Savers. We call this show Roads to Retirement, and it's going to be a feature on this network every month. So let's take a look back when I interviewed Shawn Hughes. He's a striving artist living in the Bay Area, a very successful sign maker, and he's got a great dog, Oscar. So without further ado, let's look back at this great episode of Roads to Retirement.
Marin County is one of the top 5 richest counties in the United States, but it's also home to artists, shipbuilders, and tax-free anchor-out citizens who avoid rent by settling in the open waters of Richardson Bay. Shawn here pays his rent and makes a decent home of his 25-foot shoreliner with his loyal first mate and unassuming guard dog, Oscar.
It's really a beautiful location you live at. This marina is wonderful, real serene, quiet. So you went from being an almost professional skateboarder and now you're an artist.
I'm a sign painter, sign maker, floral designer. I wear a lot of different hats. You know, living in SF, I'd probably be sharing a room. Living with, 5 roommates, paying $1,800 a month for a tiny little closet. I got this, 25-foot sailboat, and I get to live here alone with Oscar and not have any roommates. It makes more sense. I do a lot of work on this boat, believe it or not. I've had this about 5 years now. It's definitely living within my means, It'd be crazy to have a huge house and not use any of the rooms, and I use everything in here. It's perfect.
Let's talk a little bit about the art, the business that you're in. I mean, you service many of San Francisco's businesses. You're designing art.
I do a lot of stuff with restaurants, any type of business. I've done stuff downtown and, office buildings. It's been a pretty fun ride. It's definitely tough, one-man banding it, but it works.
I would imagine you have to balance the financial aspect of the business as well against the personal.
It's a feast or famine, to be honest with you. Pretty tough, especially, with rent and everything, in this area, it's very expensive. I've never been really good at budgeting. When I get it, I spend it, or help other people out with it, and then it's next job. I chose this because it's something I love to do, and what's the point of waking up every day and doing something and you're completely unhappy? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I think I and the audience can certainly feel the passion that you have for your vocation, and you're obviously very good at it. You've known it for such a long time. The importance of mentorship and learning from others, and I had a mentor who told me that life is a learned experience. So one of the things I've taken away is we need to get people who don't have that luxury investing in themselves both today, so living day to day for today, but also investing in themselves in the future. Thanks for showing us around your digs. And I know we're going to hang out a little bit later on
Cool.
the tour and kind of check it all out.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Oscar. Love you, buddy. Such an amazing and inspiring story. But wait, this is just the first part. When we come back, we're going to catch up with Shawn and Oscar and find out how he's doing on his saving for retirement, personal finances, and more. Right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network. Welcome back. And now we're going to fast forward 1 year later, and I'm pleased to welcome back to the show, Shawn Hughes. Shawn, how are you, my friend?
Good. How have you been, Jeff?
I'm doing quite well. Great to talk with you. Great to see you. How are things in the Bay Area?
Things in the Bay Area are great. You know, they're crazy as ever, but things are going great.
And how's my buddy Oscar doing?
Oscar's good. He's being really lazy right now. He's in his dog bed with a fan on him.
Well, that's happened. He's entitled to that. He's entitled to a little time off. And as you know, I have cats, and the cats like to sleep pretty much 18 hours a day. So I can kind of relate. So last time we just in the last segment saw your interview, the piece we did with you last August. Wanted to ask you, any reflections? It's been about a year since we chatted. Any reflections on that conversation? Any reflections on retirement, saving for your future?
Yes. Every day I think about these things. Unfortunately, monies haven't been too good the past year, so I haven't been able to do any saving or putting anything back. But it is definitely something that, since I have met you, it's something that I definitely am constantly thinking about. I just have to be able to get ahead of the curve so I can put stuff back.
Yeah, and absolutely. And when we were chatting, we talked a little bit about the Cal Savers retirement plan, which I think many of the listeners know, and many of you, and you know as well. That's kind of this opportunity for people who do not have a mechanism to save. They don't have a workplace retirement plan like a 401k. Have you thought about that at all? I know you said that, money is a little bit tight now, and you're a wonderful artist. You're a great artist. But have you thought about that at all?
What was that?
Have you thought about the new Cal Savers retirement plan as a potential option once money starts coming in?
Not until now, but it's definitely something I'd be really interested in looking into.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about where you are in your work. When we chatted, you're a sign maker. You showed us on Haight-Ashbury, you showed us some of the great sign work you did. You were mentored by a really wonderful person who kind of showed you the ropes in terms of developing signs. But what's been at the top of mind for you in terms of building your business and the work that you're doing in the Bay Area?
Just networking more, throwing myself out there a little bit more than normal. Normally, I would let people find me somehow, but I've definitely been, throwing out, cards and stuff like that more than I have in the past.
And when we checked in, you live on this really cool boat in a wonderful marina. I think it allows you a lot of flexibility. It's a great place to live. Oscar even likes it, doesn't get seasick. In fact, I didn't get seasick sitting on the boat, which is amazing because I get seasick in the shower. How is that going for you? It's true. You can ask my wife. I do get seasick in the shower, but how is living on the boat? How has the past year been living on the boat, managing your expenses, keeping your costs down while you're building your business?
Everything for the past year has been pretty good on the boat, you know. I can't complain about anything, you know. And as far as like, you know, keeping my expenses, you know, in line and stuff like that, that's been a little bit of a struggle here and there. It's kind of been more of like a roller coaster, if you will. But I just keep you know, keep moving forward, and that's, you know, really all I can do. And hopefully, eventually, things will turn around and work in my favor.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I mean, all you can do, and I always use hockey analogy, is keep your feet moving and try to skate to where the puck is going to be. I'm not sure if you're a big hockey fan, although you got, you know, several NHL teams in the area. But you know, I think you're right. And we all go through ups and downs in our lives.
Yeah.
And you know, myself included, many people that I know, we all go through challenges, but we grow because of them. And I think it's, you know, what you're doing is absolutely amazing. Building your business, you've got great mentoring that you've had. You're a wonderful artist, and you know, perseverance is and the struggle to continue to grow and develop is really important.
Exactly. You know, I kind of look at it like this, you know, not, you know, things don't really happen overnight most of the time. So if I just keep playing the tape over and over, eventually, hopefully it'll just play.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. And, you know, I wanted to ask you something else. You know, many Americans are aware that the market's been really volatile, meaning the stock market. There have been some challenges from, you know, tariffs and other things that we hear and read about in the news. But in terms of your day-to-day life, how do you process all that? Because, you know, we get browbeaten day to day with a lot of news. How do you process that all? Is it just go, you know, do you just take it in and just let it go, you know, water off a duck's back? How do you think about all that?
It's something that, you know, it doesn't really affect me at all necessarily, but it's definitely something that I see on the news quite often. And I think that, in my personal opinion, I think it's just like, I don't know, a little childish. And I think it's definitely hurting a lot of people out there. But as far as I go, I don't really, it hasn't really like affected me at all. I have, you know, so many other things going on in my life. I just kind of like, oh, that's kind of like background noise.
Yeah, well, I personally think you're right. I think a lot of that is just for headlines and, you know, driving people to watch TV and you know, read the internet or whatever. And you know, if you're a person like yourself, you're a private, you own your own business, and we're actually reaching you in your office today. But you run your own business. You've got a lot bigger fish to fry, so to speak, and there are more important issues. I don't know if you're frying fish or not, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of big issues that you've got to deal with in terms of managing your business, taking care of your wonderful dog, Oscar, and living your life. So, I mean, those are things that I think you just have to push back. And, you know, the market going up and down, you're right. It doesn't have an impact on all of us every day because we're not retiring today. We're not tapping into our savings. We're not doing those things day to day. So I think your perspective is absolutely right. Last question. Let's talk a little bit about healthcare, because I think when we last chatted, you had talked about a little bit about the Affordable Care Act and how you get healthcare through the ACA, which is a federal requirement, still is a federal requirement, I believe. How are things going in that regard?
So basically, since I technically don't make a certain amount like on the books, so I went down to Medi-Cal offices, and I explained to them my situation. And the lady, I don't know, we just got along really well, and she helped me out and got me Medi-Cal so that I could have surgery on my face. So for the moment, I have that going for me. But as soon as I start making over their allocated, amount of money I'm allowed to have, like, a month, then I basically have to contact them and let them know, that I'm making over this amount of money, and then they'll get rid of my Medi-Cal. Hopefully soon, I'm going to start start, I'm still going to be doing my sign stuff, but I'm going to try to start something on, something else on the side, to help a friend out with one of his businesses, and try to get, I'm going to, I'll just be making, I think I'll be making more money, and this will be a good opportunity for me. They'll give me health insurance and stuff like that. So that's something I'm looking into. And yeah, that's where my head is right now on that.
Well, good. Working with other people and partnering and getting business that way, that's amazing. And I think people should definitely check out your work. Actually, we'll do is we'll post a link below and show people some of your work. It's amazing. Shawn, just want to say thanks for checking in with us. It was amazing getting to spend a half a day with you and Oscar being on the boat, and I'm so glad that we could connect. And it sounds like things are going well for you and the business. And we will hope to check back with you and maybe a little bit later this year or early into next year, my friend.
Yeah, awesome, Jeff. Thank you for your time, and ditto as well. And anytime you're ever in the Bay Area, hit me up, and yeah, I would love to see you.
Awesome, my friend. Well, Shawn, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and have a great week, my friend.
You too. Have a good day yourself, Jeff. We'll talk soon.
Well, folks, that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Hey, have a topic or a person of interest that you think we should cover? Drop us a line. And don't forget, for more retirement markets, technology, personal finance news, check out today's edition of The Morning Pulse. So until tomorrow, keep saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.
Waiting here for you to take and drink of. But if you're tired of the same